The Prana Pratishta Puja, we believe as faith that Ram was born here. They say, how can you believe, which is some 7,000, 10,000 years old, how would you know? I said, how do I know that Christ was born in Bethlehem? Do you know how he was, how they think so? Because the Italian king Constantine's mother had a dream that Christ was born there. And thereafter, Bethlehem became the place. And same thing, Al-Aqsa Mosque, they say Muhammad went to heaven from there. How do you know? Because somebody had a dream that Muhammad went there, or a hallucination, I don't know which he had, but the claim to the Al-Aqsa Mosque is that. So I am not, where faith is concerned, you can't subject it to logic. It has to be accepted if a large number of people believe it. That's the law. That is the law. It's not Hindu law, it's a secular law, that as far as faith is concerned, where people, large number, a substantial number of people believe something, then it is, provided it doesn't obstruct morality, doesn't obstruct public health or order, public order. So subject to those three things. You can't say this is my faith that the only way I can get a promotion is if I cut the head of my child. That, I'm sorry, is maybe some people believing in voodoo might think, but that is against the law because it affects the morality. So therefore the solution is very simple. There's plenty of land across the Saryu river where they can build a masjid. And as far as we are concerned, this be given over to us because this is where we believe is the where Ram was born. And the Allahabad High Court has accepted that that is the place where Ram was born because it is believed by a large number of people. It is against that they are coming here and appealing against the Supreme Court. Solution is very simple. If you want to find a compromise which is good for the country. If Hindus and Muslims sit down and say, okay, we'll build a masjid across the river, it's not too far from where the Babri Masjid stood, and you build your temple. What is the difficulty? But no, they say no, this is ours. And how is it yours? Because we conquered it. And how does the conquering make you? Because of adverse possession, you did not retake that. But under the law, even if you protest, the adverse possession law doesn't come into existence. So today, I think with this howl that took place after the last order, the judge wanted to, I think things cool down. He's a very fine judge, our Chief Justice, Iyer. And furthermore, he has appointed 5 constitutional bench judgments, means each of them with 5 judges. That practically exhausts all the Supreme Court. And they are to work in the summer vacation, which means that all of them will lose their summer vacation. So he said, I don't have the necessary number of judges and so on. The papers, I'm sure, would report that Swami's plea was rejected. Well, I'm sorry, I never accept rejection in such matters. This kind of backward-forward moving takes place all the time. It took 20 years to convict Jayalalitha. How many times we went forward, backward, with all our appeals all over the place. But at the same time, the logic of ours is so sound that Ram temple has to be built. I also have said to the Muslim community while I was discussing with them that you broke 40,000 temples and build masjids. We are not asking for all of them back. Only 3, namely Mathura, that is Krishna, Ayodhya Rama, and Kashi Vishwanath. The rest you can keep. And I also told them, please read the Mahabharata. I also said that you please, and I got this cleared from the RSS, Vishnu Parishad, everybody. They said, yeah, only 3. Others they can keep. So I also told them, please read from Mahabharata, that Lord Krishna went to Duryodhana as the 2 armies were standing against each other and said, keep Hastinapur, keep Indraprastha, but give 5 villages. And you know what his reply was. And you know what the consequences was. So either you give us 3 or we'll take 40,000. Now after Adityanath became chief minister, many Muslims have begun talking with me, why don't we talk this out? And that is consistent with the Muslim theology. Muslim theology says, this is Muhammad himself in Sirah and Hadith, where Muslims are in majority and power, don't tolerate any minority. They are kafirs, they should be killed or converted. It's there in the Sirah, Hadith and in parts of Quran. Then he says, that's called Darul Islam. And second, where the Muslims are in minority, but the majority is very, what I call as rasgulla, very soft and, can be pushed and pushed. He said, there keep pushing. Use every tactic, lies, everything you can, and try to convert that into a majority. And the third, he says, is Darul Had, where the majority is united, and you as a minority have to face them, and they are very aggressive. There he says surrender. That's called al-taqiyya. So in Australia, they will never oppose uniform civil code. Only once one mullah of a masjid said, it would be nice if Australia gave us got rid of uniform civil code and gave us a Sharia. So the Prime Minister then next day announced, if the Muslim community wants Sharia, they should find another country, because here you will not get it. And following day, every Muslim organization passed a resolution and sent it to the Prime Minister saying that this mullah is a crazy fellow. We like uniform civil code. The same thing in America. So I asked them, you agreed to uniform civil code in Australia, in America, and so many other places, in China, in Russia, but why not in India? So then they say, this is what Muhammad says, and we have to follow that. So if the day we become united, why I'm saying the Ram temple thing is so important, is that it's been a major uniting factor. The day our mindset becomes that we are Hindus first and everything else much, much later, that psychology would indeed lead to not only a solution of our problems, but even a change in attitude towards the Muslim community. I am not saying that minorities are something that we can suppress. We don't need to. Did we suppress the Parsis? They came here, took shelter. They are integral part of our society. Nobody even says a word about them. They've been the Chief Justice, they've been Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army, Air Marshal of the Air Force, the Attorney General of India, but nobody even talks about their being Parsi. Same thing Jews. General Jacob, who liberated Dhaka, he was a Jew. So therefore we have never had any problem, because we believe as Hindus that all religions lead to God. It's those religions which say my way or the highway, that is where the problem arises. And Christianity and Islam is like that. So this confrontation between Hindus, we tend to, because we are so many, ifs and buts with us, we get confused. We all have got what is Swami Chinmayanand once told me, the Arjuna disease. So I said, what is the Arjuna disease? He says, in the middle of the battle, he puts his weapons down and he says, how can I kill all my brothers? I mean, at that stage to think like that. Ultimately, Krishna had to teach him what the right perspective is. That fear, that worry we have. But there are certain things which we have to decide to do, and we must do. And one of them is to liberate these 3 important temples. We are not against masjids being built. They can be built in other places. In Ayodhya, by the way, there are already 27 mosques. You go and see them, how much namaz is going on. None of them namaz is going on. All of them have cows and buffaloes tied inside. They are shelters because there's nobody to take care of it. There is no mutwali, there is nothing. How can they have namaz there? Because there is not enough demand for masjids. So what is the point in having one more masjid where you'll have to put cows and buffaloes in it? So that is another additional argument that even another masjid is not necessary. Because who will come there? Maybe Pakistanis will come and ISIS will come just to show off, but the local population not interested. There's another small aspect with which I'll conclude. The masjid was built on orders of Babur by his commander-in-chief, Mir Baqi. And Mir Baqi was a Shia, not a Sunni. So it was a Shia mosque. So in a mosque, you see, the responsible person is called Mutwali, and it's hereditary. So we located the Mutwali, who descended from 500 years ago, from his ancestors of 500 years ago. And he said, I don't want a masjid there. You build me a masjid near my house in Ayodhya. And he gave it in writing to Ashok Singhal, which we have got, which someday we will display in court. So it's the Sunnis, and they are making an issue on property, and not that this is their religious place, which they cannot, because a masjid is not a religious place. It is a place it's a facilitation center for reading namaz, and therefore you cannot put it on the same footing as a temple of Lord Rama. And therefore we have to win this battle. I will go back again, but I have already one thing in mind, that in April 2018, we will have majority in Rajya Sabha also. Then, like in the Shah Banu case, we'll bring a legislation making all this irrelevant, and we'll take it over and build a temple. And if at that time the Muslims want a masjid, we'll happily build it for them across the Saryu River. This, in a nutshell, is the Ram Janmabhoomi case.
Thank you, Dr. Swami, for the excellent insights on the subject that we all been wanting to know. Now, the pleasant task is to give mementos to chief guests. Can I request Ranganathan sir? Ranganathan ji? Please come onto the stage, please. Can I request Chandralekha Madam ji to give a memento to Sri S. Gurumurthy? Can I request my good friend Mr. Muthuraman, CFO Swarajya, to come and give a memento to Dr. Subramanian Swami?
Swarajya also is under the glare of the liberals.
Yeah. Can I ask Mr. Ramesh Sethuraman to come and give a memento to Sri Jagdish? Can I request Mr. Rajan, PTT, to come and give a memento to Sri Iyer?